The Arizona Cardinals plus Kyler Murray equals a win-win situation. What do I mean? Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Man, sports media since 2011 here. It's bonkers how so much has evolved and how yet so much has stayed the same in certain instances. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Should the Cardinals bring in Amari Cooper? I'll talk about it in the final segment. The Cardinals are keeping up with the NFC West. And this is something that has been kind of a foreign attribute to the organization over the years. I'll explain what I mean in the second segment. But Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals are in a win-win situation in 2025. And while a handful of you scream from the mountaintops how Kyler Murray's not the guy and how I need to start doing other things because it's rude and it's selfish. You think I'm not going to do the first segment of the next show about Kyler Murray and how it's a win-win situation? My gift to you. The reason why 2025 is a win-win situation for the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray is there will be a result to the question of, is he the future of this team from the quarterback position? That's it. It's not excuses. It's not reasons. It's not almost. It's not maybe. It's yes or no. And I weigh this wildly heavy on his first 3 seasons in the NFL. I equate it to if Trevor Lawrence had Urban Meyer for 4 years. Sure, not exactly the same with Cliff and Urban Meyer. Everybody loved Cliff. Everybody hated Urban Meyer. Like, it's not a personality thing between the two guys. But if Cliff was removed or never hired, Kyler Murray would have matured a lot more quickly. He was doing it by himself. And if you believe that Cliff helped him, he did in some capacity. He did in a handful of ways, but not the important ways. Not the important ways. You could see after Kyler Murray tore his ACL, after Cliff Kingsbury was fired, after Steve Keim was whatever he was, Kyler Murray has grown and matured more in the last 2 years by far than his first 4. Like, that's objectively true. Now, when you look at what has happened since the end of last season, Cardinals go 8-9. They had control of their destiny, and they failed during the second half of the season like we've grown accustomed to it happening. That's not an opinion. That's what's happened. Everything has been leading up to this. And, the conversation's like, well, he's going into year 7. You should know a lot sooner than this. Why? Why? Maybe this whole, I need it right now kind of thing. Oh, he's a Super Bowl winner. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, get rid of him. Oh, just relax. No quarterback has ever won a Super Bowl with a bad roster. This is true. And while his performance in the 2021 playoffs, we're going to Uncle Rico this year, about 1,000 days ago, more. Oh, that one playoff game. Yeah, you think that he hasn't gotten better as a player? I don't understand. With all of that said, if the Cardinals win 7 games, I think they move off of him. if the Cardinals only win 7 games next year with this roster and before the draft, and he plays all 17 and they only win 7 games, I think that would be a wrap. And I've never really said anything like that before. The haters will know. If they win 7 games, maybe even 8 games next year, and he plays all 17, I'd be open to the conversation of how much. What teams? Who then? So it's a win-win because it's like, see, once a month, twice a month. Took me to March 20th to say something smart. It's like 2 people, like if it were not to work out, say they win 7 games, 8 games, he plays the entirety of the season, and it just doesn't work. And they lose important games and nothing has changed. It's like 2 people who love each other but aren't in love with each other anymore. That's what the relationship would be. Be no hard feelings, but it'd be like, listen, we both need a fresh start. And I'm feeling it would be amicable. Jonathan Gannon and Monti Ossenfort took this job because, and I quote from Jonathan Gannon, not very rarely does a team that's rebuilding have a franchise quarterback. So the love for Kyler Murray from the coaching staff and the GM isn't fantasticized. It's not just like a, snazzy way to make, everybody understand. Oh, we all love each other. We all love each other. No. They're adults. But I'll tell you what. If they win 7 or 8 games next year, might be toodles for Kyler Murray. Might be. And I would be at peace with that after championing him for the majority of his time. So full circle, it's a win-win because we're going to find out either way. Now, if they win 9 or 10 games, if they make the playoffs, you bring them back. I mean, it's obvious. Like there's not my biggest issue with. It's not an issue with fans. No, because I love you. Every day, especially lovers, haters, don't care. Love y'all. Good enough is so far above average, even further above C-, below average. A B quarterback in this league is coveted. And there may be 15 of them. And Kyler Murray is one of them. And I don't understand why people who are bringing up the homework clause and the playoff game in 2021. Welcome to the present, baby. The water's fine. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. It's a win-win regardless. And if they were to part ways, and listen, I'll discuss, if this actually comes to fruition, the latter, they have to move off from, a week can be discussed about it. So this is just, what I do on this show. I tell the future, and then we revisit when the future happens. So this conversation is going to happen, when the season starts, and I'm doing it now because I want you to be informed about what's going to happen in the future. You're welcome. Locked On Cardinals, your team. Every day it's Friday, man. Give me a break. The Cardinals are keeping up with the NFC West in a way they haven't really done in recent memory. I'll discuss it next. Locked On Cardinals. Again, third tag, your team every day. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right experience at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more, experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives business flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. And whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com. Upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is also brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center, and you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. And listen, it is a win-win. Finding out the answer is a win. If the Cardinals win 10 games, Kyler Murray's coming back. If he wins 9 games, he's probably coming back. The interesting part about it is, which you never wish upon anybody, of course. And what do I say normally? Like, you don't wish it upon your worst enemy, let alone somebody that the team you cover or team you're a fan of. Like, you don't want Kyler Murray to get injured. If Kyler Murray misses a month and the Cardinals win 8 games, you got to move on. Like, these are the conversations that will evolve and grow. And, again, I could do a week right now on the upsides and downsides of Kyler Murray staying or leaving. But I won't because we're in March. One thing that's been discussed on the show and elsewhere, I'm sure, is the Arizona Cardinals not ever really being contention in the arms race for the NFC West specifically. Big moves, I guess, coupled with drafting well, but really this is predicated upon big free agent acquisitions. The one that stuck out to me, and it didn't really matter because it didn't work, but the Jamal Adams trade for Seattle a handful of years ago, it's like, yeah, the Cardinals would never do something like that. Again, it worked out that they didn't, but taking home run shots, Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers. 49ers do it all the time. Trent Williams. They do it all the time. Sharkavius Ward, they just continue to replenish with top-tier talent. The Rams, trading for Jalen Ramsey, bringing in Von Miller, like Clay Matthews, Eric Weddle. Like, they had guys like these big-name dudes that other teams were doing. The Cardinals wouldn't really. I mean, yes, you traded for DeAndre Hopkins because they had a terrible roster, and you gave David Johnson a terrible contract, so you had to figure it out. Like, they brought in Zach Ertz, which was great. But it's like that world-beating move is something that the move that elevates your roster in multiples of what it was previous. Those are the moves that the Cardinals just never make. You could probably say that Michael Bidwell's pocketbook had something to do with it up until this point. You could probably say there was an interest from free agents wanting to come here because the Cardinals never win. Yeah, that probably has something to do with it also. I think the majority of it was just the culture. And you could tell by the report cards the last 3 years what the people think of this organization. But this year, the Cardinals are keeping up. And no, they didn't bring in Devontae Adams, okay? They didn't, whatever Seattle's doing, like, Cooper Kupp, I mean, cool. MVS, sweet. Sam Darnold, cool. But the Cardinals, by and large, have at least been in lockstep move-wise with the rest of the NFC West. And that's different. That's different. And the reason why it's happening is because Monti Ossenfort has been drafting well. You see how it all kind of blends together? It's like, oh, if you do this, then you're able to do this instead of having to give draft capital away for players and then pay them or take on big contracts. You get to draft players and develop them, and they're really cheap contracts for the first 4 or 5 years, and then you can bring in free agents who can mentor the young players, and you could pay them some money, and then they're all under the salary cap, and you have a complete roster. Ta-da! Mind blown. But that's why the Cardinals have been able to do it, because they've been drafting. Because you don't, like, they're they've almost accomplished building out a competent, balanced, and competitive roster. Balanced was the biggest thing for the last decade that it just wasn't. The Cardinals were massively top-heavy. It was Chandler Jones and Patrick Peterson on defense. And then Budda Baker was really emerging in, 2018, 2019, 2020. But the rest of the DB room was awful. Zach Allen was fine for like 10 minutes when he wasn't hurt. The interior defensive line wasn't great. Like Marcus Golden and Dennis Gardeck were looked at as their pass rushers. It's like, what are we doing here, guys? The roster was in shambles. So the Cardinals weren't able to be in lockstep with the rest of the NFC West because they weren't doing the small things right. They weren't drafting well. Michael Biddle wasn't spending the money on free agents if they did want to come here. Like bringing in J.J. Watt was a one-off. And now, even though I do think J.J. Watt wanted to be here. I know that he has a house here. I think his wife lived, but like he could have gone out. He could have gone anywhere and got $20 million. Like people, oh no, the Cardinals overpaid him. No, they didn't. And then you're starting to see Josh Sweat could have gone elsewhere. Dalvin Tomlinson 100% could have gone elsewhere. Maybe taking a little bit less cheese. It ends up only being $13.5 million guaranteed instead of 16. So the numbers were adjusted. That's a steal. I know he's been in the league 7 years. Who gives a rip? The dude can ball. The reason why the Cardinals are keeping up is because they're doing the other things right also in complement to actual free agent acquisition. You see how the picture's being painted? You see how the picture's being painted? Giving Monti Ossenfort crap during his first free agency, at the end of the 2022 season, is like giving Bob Ross crap because he sponged one little shrub on the lower left of his painting without painting the rest. Doesn't compute. People need things so much more quickly than what makes rational sense. So now, the Cardinals are able to do some work. And you have to tip the cap to Michael Biddle for actually spending the money. And they've still got cheese. They've still got money to spend. This roster is not done. I'm not saying the roster is, but I'm saying bringing in Josh Sweat and Dalvin Tomlinson takes this defense from probably a C+ last year, even though secondary was great, to a B. Like that. And that's with Darius Robinson and B.J. Ojulari sight unseen. If you get legitimately, if you get nothing from Darius Robinson or B.J. Ojulari next year, I'd still give this defense a B. Baron Browning showed flashes. Dante Stills is good. He would be fine alongside Dalvin Tomlinson. He needs a mentor. And the secondary is going to be even better next year. And then you've got the draft. So with Darius Robinson and B.J. Ojulari, say they're both B- players, B players. I was not kidding. This defense could be top 5, top 7 next year. Like, it doesn't happen overnight. This is what it looks like to rationally build a roster that was in shambles and completely reset a culture of perpetual losing and dysfunctionality. It sucks. Being a Cardinals fan has not been easy for the last 4 decades. You've got your flashes, but by and large, it's not been fun. And kudos to the diehard Cardinals fans out there still. Your time's coming, and it's in 2025. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. So the Cardinals give Amari Cooper a look. He was like, I think it was ESPN that linked interest from the Arizona Cardinals and Amari Cooper and vice versa. Should they bring him in? Yeah, I won't bury the lead. That's next.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
So, I mean, if you can't get excited for this draft cycle in this season, woo! Maybe try curling. High-lie. Underwater basket weaving. We're going to find out. Going back to the first segment, this is it. Better, worse, we're going to find out. And that is a very powerful position to be in. Like, for people who don't actually have, like, yeah, I mean, season ticket holders, don't sell your tickets. Give the Cardinals a fair shot. For those that don't, disregard. I have a sneaking suspicion that the Cardinals will probably have 3 primetime games. 3, I mean, come on. So they got a Thursday night. They're going to get a Monday night. And prediction here, ready? Everybody listening? Cowboys, Thanksgiving, Cardinals. This is the year. It makes too much sense. It makes too much sense. And that's what I'm predicting. Cardinals, Thanksgiving, Cowboys. Anyways, should the Cardinals give Amari Cooper a look? No. I loved Amari Cooper. Ever since that, college he was great. He was an absolute beast. And then he just forgot how to catch the football in Oakland for a while. And then he had that, 10, 12 catch, 200-plus yard, 2 touchdown night. I think it was Thursday Night Football or Monday Night. I think it was Monday Night Football. Can't remember, Thursday or Monday. And then, he was great after that. Went to Dallas, was great. Cleveland was great his first year there and second. And then this is why I say no. I know that the Bills have been ever since Brian Daboll left and ever since Ken Dorsey got fired finally, when they realized that they had a running back they could give the ball to and didn't have Josh Allen needing to throw the ball 60 times a game, it's like, oh, James Cook, oh, cool. You could have done that with Devin Singletary too, but James Cook, cool. Josh Allen runs the ball, cool. I understand that they've been massively more run heavy than years past, especially the last handful. Amari Cooper wasn't even on the radar, and they had no receivers. I mean, I know Dalton Kincaid emerged. Dawson Knox was fine. Khalil Shakir was really good, but he and Amari Cooper are completely different players. Keon Coleman had a 3-game flash his rookie year out of Florida State, but Amari Cooper wasn't even a figment of an imagination of what he used to be. Now, again, they run the ball a lot, especially in the red zone because they're excellent at it. But I think 1 year, $4.5 million for Zay Jones is plenty. I'd much rather see Michael Wilson's one shot than bringing in Amari Cooper. I'd rather dump more money in the defensive line or the offensive line. Remember, the Cardinals already have a wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2. It's Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe they'll draft one in the 4th. Maybe they'll dart throw it, depending on how the first 3 rounds go. I don't think you need to bring in any more veteran wide receiver help. I don't. It's not so much that Michael Wilson is a wide receiver 2, or Zay Jones at this time in his career is a wide receiver 2, or Greg Dortch is a wide receiver 2. It's not that. They already have 2 stud wide receivers. One just happens to be tight end. And on top of that, Elijah Higgins, if he needs to get reps running routes, and if they need him to run routes, the dude's another guy. He's kind of Greg Dortchian a little bit. Whenever he's been throwing the ball, he's like the Steph Curry turn away touchdown pass against the Rams in the back of the end zone was Elijah Higgins sliding on his knees. It's kind of I'll tell you, they could use Trey McBride and Elijah Higgins as a Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely kind of thing. I'm not saying that Elijah Higgins is as good as Isaiah Likely, because he isn't. At least not now. He's never really been given the opportunity, but Isaiah Likely, it seemed it was just kind of like an accident. It's like, oh my God, he's that good? Because if he would, a team would have traded, like if anybody knew that that wasn't coming out of left field, I think the situation would be different. And Mark Andrews, I'm not saying, like Mark Andrews is sneakily, it was Travis Kelce and him, and then George Kittle for years. And Trey McBride has the, looks like it's going to happen. I mean, it seems pretty obvious this is going to happen. I would take him over Sam Laporta. I would take him, like, you want to say that Brock Bowers is going to have a better rest of his career than Trey McBride? Would be like, okay, let's see. I don't know why that's a foregone conclusion. I think Trey McBride looked fantastic. He and Kyler Murray figured it out. They figured out this offense with Trey McBride, and I think that they'll figure it out at least to a point where they'll shut people the hell up about Marvin Harrison Jr.'s production. They'll figure that out next year. I'm going to go much more in depth about the pass game as this offseason progresses, but I don't think bringing in a veteran wide receiver, let alone Amari Cooper, is necessary. It's not like, oh, no, I think Amari Cooper's fallen off. He's lost a step. It's not even that. It's just I don't think they need to. Draft one. Really pour into Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch. They RFA'd Greg Dortch again. So, use them. Use them properly. I think they'll be fine. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is no. I'll talk to you Monday.